the URL that you would go to submit your public inputs for the NEC. You'll note that this is a slight deviation from the way you normally get into the NEC doc info page. We just add the word next, the end after 70. Okay, once you get to that page, this area here that you see with this red block around it says the next edition of the standard is now open for public input, formally proposals. So that's what this is going to look like when you come to the NEC page. You would use your standard committee member login. If you're not currently a committee member, I know we have a couple of guests who are on here today as well, you would need to create an NFPA account and password, and then that is what you would use to log into the system. Okay, after you get in, it will look somewhat like this, and let me switch over to another application here. Okay, so this is what you're going to be looking at. Over here on the left-hand side is the general layout of the NEC in chapter number order, and you can open these up and select the individual articles and go directly to where you need to go. But the entire code is sitting right here for you to be able to use to submit into the NEC. So I'm going to start off with a fairly simple one. I'm going to submit a public input on section 90.3. Now, you won't be like this. This is some things that we've already put in as in this demonstration version. So let me click on 90.3, and then I would come here to the bottom where it says revise existing section. Click that. And this is going to bring up the text of that section. And what I'm going to do here is a real simple change. I'm going to change this, just call it code order for the sake of argument. Then I click next, and you'll see that in this next screen what it's done is it struck through arrangement and it's underlined the new word added order. So then I would click next again. It's asking me if I want to upload any additional proposed changes, which I don't want to in this particular instance. And then I would click next again. And now I have to, just like I always had to before, I have to submit a substantiation. So let me make something up here. Okay, I've made up something bogus. It says this is more of an order than an arrangement. I would click next again, and this gives me the, if I've submitted several on this particular topic, this gives me the opportunity to link all of those together so that if I'm doing something that's affecting a number of sections of the code, you can see the whole argument together that I've done this, 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 and this is how this hangs together in the code. So then I'm going to tell it to save it. And click next. And I just saved at that point so I would not lose it. Now, if I had signed into this, into the system normally, it would come up with my submitter name and my user ID. Now, some particularly some consultants, may work for a number of different people, or if you work for a company and you represent an organization, in some cases you may be representing your own company or you may be representing your organization. This gives me the ability to, in every one of these cases, indicate who it is that I'm representing. And nobody will, by the way, be representing NFPA as they're submitting a public input. Okay, so then I, just like the printed proposal forms that we have been using for years, it is necessary to sign a copyright statement. So by clicking this box here, you agree to the copyright statement, and then you can submit it into the system. In every cycle that I've been here through, we've had a number of proposals affect the entire code. I'm going to ask anyone who is currently unmuted, please mute your phones so that we don't hear that background noise. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, in this new system, we have the ability to submit global public input. So, for example, here's a potential global public input. Okay, so this global change that would be throughout the code would be change the term building everywhere in the code. Okay, we're not submitting any graphics in this case. So, okay, so my substantiation in this case, and please don't submit this one, is this change is intended to apply to all structures, not just buildings. Okay. So again, I can link this to other changes that I'm submitting. Again, even though I'm in here submitting a series, I have the ability to go in and change my affiliation because in one case I'm representing my company, in the other case I'm representing an organization. And if you don't need to do that, you just click Next to get through it. You again need to indicate that you have material that you don't have copyright interest in, or you haven't submitted copyrighted material from someone else, and now in this case, I've just saved it, I've not submitted it. I want to show you something, and that is, it is. If you develop a public input on your computer, you can save it in the background. I mean, you can save it on your computer, and it actually will register in the system, but it will not register as a submitted public input. It will be highlighted in pink, telling you that it exists, but you have not yet submitted. And if you look over on the far right-hand side, you'll see the term not submitted at the top of that box. Now, you can be developing your public inputs over time, and then you can submit them in a chunk, or you can submit them as you go. If you've not submitted them, several days before the closing date, you will get an email that tells you, we've noticed that you've developed these public inputs and you haven't submitted them. If you want to, please take note of the public input closing date. So that's a reminder that the system will build into the system. Now, the other thing is, after you have submitted them, you will get an emailed acknowledgement that you have submitted public inputs. In the past, we haven't been able to do that, and now the system will do that for you automatically. Oh, yes, and you can delete any public input up until the closing date, even those you have submitted already. So see, here's one here that has been submitted into the system, and you can just simply click delete and make that disappear. So again, another helpful feature. Now I'm going to show you how you would add a new section. So I'm going to add a new section in Article 250. And this new section is going to be, 1 second here. Okay, this one is going to relate to grounding electrodes. So I'm going to click on 250.58, and I actually want to submit this as section 250.59. So what I would do is click on 250.58 and click on Add New Section. Okay, so I've added my new text, and again, I need to go in, again, no graphics for this one. Now I again have to substantiate it. Okay, so there's a substantiation. Not submitting anything else in accordance with it, and I had the opportunity to change my affiliation. I did not in that case. I again have to click the box, and I'm going to save this one. Show you why at the end. I'll close that. Okay. Okay. I had told you I was going to tell you how to make a change to a table, and I don't actually have the table in this version. As I said, this is an offline version. And in as far as changing a table is concerned, like I was going to show you table 256, you can open that table and highlight the numbers or delete the numbers and replace them. And when you hit the next button, you'll get a view of that table with those numbers struck through and number underlined. So it's actually fairly straightforward, and then you would go through the remainder of the steps. Okay, now, so I've shown you a basic change, the global change. I described the revision to a table, on a new section, and now a new article. Now, for new articles, I ask you to call me first. The system will actually allow you to put one in, but if you call me, then we can try to make sure that the new article gets numbered in the right place. So the assignment of articles is the responsibility of the NEC Correlating Committee, but the chairman, Mike Johnston, and I work together to make sure that we can get those things assigned and in proper code order. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the submission of a new article. And my method of doing that is to go to the, actually I can collapse that back down. So let me do that. So let me collapse Chapter 2 again. So I go to the bottom of this list and click on Global Input. So now I'm going to create a new global input. And what I've done in this case is I've got a Word file here of the material that we're going to go in. This is a new article that I'm Ocean Thermal Energy Systems. So let me go back into the application here. And, oops, I just fell out of that. I'm going to copy and paste this one in here. Second, it did not do it. What happened? Attach it? Okay.
Put in that I proposed
Okay.
new article.
Let me do this a little differently. I'm going to do this as an attachment. Okay, and click through, and here's where I would upload the file. And where is this? This is upload. Okay, now, additional proposed changes. Well, in this case, I'm actually going to be uploading a new piece of artwork, and I'm going to show you what that piece of artwork looks like. So that's a picture of the system. So let me go back into the file and do upload that. And again, I catch the name of that again. Okay, select it, click open, click upload. Click OK. those two again now. Click Next. And again, I need a substantiation that hopefully for a complete article is a little bit more descriptive, that tells you why you did what you did. And again, click Next. Don't have any related public inputs. Not changing my affiliation. Granting permission. And in this case, I'm just going to save for now and close that. Okay. Get out of that. So I've now demonstrated for you all of the types of input that I intended to show you today. And as I indicated, a couple of these I clicked Submit on, a couple of them I did not. And I can go back and look to see what I've done. So the ones that you see in white are public inputs that have been submitted. The ones you see in pink are the ones that have not been submitted. And again, if you look over on the right-hand side of each one of those, it will show you the status of them. And I can go through and actually submit those when I feel like they're ready to go. So that's the things I wanted to show today.
Hey, Mark,
Yes.
what is your phone number? You said to call you before you submit something. What's your phone number?
Oh, yeah. That's 617-984-7400. But again, that's for new articles.
Right.
I don't need to hear about every new section or new public input, but articles, absolutely. And I appreciate that. Thank you. And of course, you can also contact me at my email address, which is mwearley@nfpa.org. Okay. Does anyone else have a question?
Mark, this is Brian Rock. I've got 3 questions.
Okay.
On related public inputs, can those be linked after submittal?
Can they be linked after submittal?
By going back in and clicking the edit button, you should be able to link at that point.
Yeah, you should be able to do that. And that would apply up to the closing date. After the closing date, you cannot.
Another question, you demonstrated how you can input from the present edition of the NEC. For the purpose of substantiation, can you input from earlier editions or from other NFPA standards and codes?
You mean submit public input to like the 1990 NEC?
No, to cite that information and import it as part of the substantiation, if you're referencing an older edition, for instance.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you can copy and paste the text or put it into a Word file, you should be able to do that. But I will also mention that on the material that you submit as substantiation, you can submit that in Word, you can submit it in PDF, you can submit Excel spreadsheets. The caution is about submitting copyrighted material that you don't have the ability to convey copyright in. The problem that we have is that in the past, if people submitted material under the fair use doctrine of copyright law, we had the ability to make a limited number of copies that we could then distribute to committee members. Where this material is now posted online, we would be making it available to the world, and that would not be a proper thing for us to do. So that's why we've taken some different measures on copyrighted material. But as far as submitting things from to us from an NFPA document, well, I don't see a problem with doing that.
Third question, the substantiation, if someone submitting a public input leaves that blank, is there something that prompts them at some point on the system prior to the closing date to fill that in?
I think before you submit it, you have to complete that. So you can be saving it, and I mean, you can just develop the proposal itself. I know I'm not supposed to say that, but you can develop the proposal itself, the proposed language, and develop the substantiation later, but it won't let you submit it until it's in there.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, Mark, could you display again the site that one goes to get started?
I will. One moment.
I want to show them right on the doc info page where the link is.
Yeah, in fact, let me just take you directly to the, first of all, I'll show it to you in the presentation because it's much more legible, which is this one right here, www.nfpa.org/70next. Okay, and let me take you to directly there.
This is Paul Myers. Real quick question. What I see on the screen there was 7-0 next. Is that supposed to be 7-0 next, actually?
It is.
Okay.
Now, you can actually just type www.nfpa.org/70, and it will bring you to this screen with all these tabs. Typing next brings you directly to this next edition tab. And then you would click on that link. And as I said, we have some system maintenance going on right now, so you can't get into it right now. And hopefully that should be back up again soon.
Thank you.
Mark? Yeah, it's 7-0 next, right? Because like James Bond 007 was really 007.
That is correct. Yes, it is a digit. Yes, someone else had a question? Yes.
Yes, I had a question. When you finished putting your public input in, is there some way that you can make a copy of that so that you can work on it offline? Can you also make a copy of it, for example, if you need to send it to somebody for approval?
What you would do is you would click on the edit key, which will bring it up, and you would have to, go ahead, Kim.
I believe you have to close this,
Okay, close this, 1 second.
and there's a link to print them, but it
Okay.
prints to. It does not make a Word document. There's nothing that you could take out of Terra that I'm aware of and be able to edit it outside of it if you've started it here.
Yeah.
But if you close this box, Mark, you
Yep.
should be able to see a link to, in the,
Okay.
a link. Why are these not closing?
Why is it not closing?
Oh, because you hit keep.
Oh. Yeah. Keep that. Okay.
On the left, right above these boxes,
Yes.
display results in printable
Oh,
format.
okay. Yep. There it is right there.
That will print.
Yes. So that's the whole collection.
You can,
So that everything that you've submitted, you can now print that out and send it to your organization or whatever for approval?
Yes. because you can
And
then
that-
take this and print it to PDF.
That should include all the items, whether they're submitted or unsubmitted.
Yeah,
Right.
The way that you prefer to do it is have them unsubmitted, send it to your organization for their approval, then go back in and submit them.
yeah, because see, there you see the unsubmitted stuff in pink.
Is it in pink?
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that question, Mark. I learned something, thanks.
This is Eddie Guidry. I had a question. Um, since this is public input, I know for most of us, we're members of the NFPA and have log-on IDs and passwords. Can anyone create an account that's not a member of the NFPA?
You've never had to be a member to submit proposals in the past, and the same thing applies to public inputs and public comments now. So you can go in and create an account and start typing away.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
This is Gene Worth. If you submit your proposal, can you still edit it before the cutoff date or closing date?
Yes, you can. You can just, you go to this little block here, if you're looking at the screen that says My Public Input. You click on that, you click on Unsubmitted and Submitted, or if you could do both. I'm just bringing up the whole list. And then simply go to the edit box and type away.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for that question. Anybody else?
On that printout option, are you able to separate it based on your affiliation? In other words, sometimes you may be submitting for different organizations, and you'd want to separate the printout accordingly.
No, but it's noted on each record.
Yeah, no, it is noted on each record how you submitted that, but no, the way it's set up right now, you could not do that, break that out individually to the best of my knowledge.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
This is Eddie Guidry. I had one more question. Since we're going more and more electronic, does that mean that we're not going to get bound comments or inputs anymore, and we're just going to receive PDFs for our panel?
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll have a lot more for us. Anyone else?
Michael Boyle, I have one question about the tables. You explained that to edit a table, you could go in and click on the number, and it would show as being, legislative language. And is that true also of the headings or footnotes?
The footnotes, yeah, you can make edits to footnotes. You can add footnotes to the table. It should be pretty straightforward.
Okay, and the same with the headings also.
Yes.
So it's really just the field that is special, the numbers, in other words.
Well, you can edit the numbers as well.
Right. Well, you explained that, but and the way you explained it is that you basically you move the number and you put the new number in, and then but it will show as legislative text where it'll be stricken and the new number underlined. I was wondering if that applied anywhere else in that table format.
I'm sorry. I'm consulting with the staff here. Go ahead.
The legislative text, if your question is pertaining to that, anything that you delete will be shown as struck out, and anything that you enter should be shown as underlined. That works in any area, whether it's in a table, in a paragraph, in a heading. If there's any problems with editing a table, you can upload your suggested revisions as a Word document or PDF. Perhaps you wanted to just copy the table out of the existing code book and mark it up with a pencil marker. You could scan it and attach it to that recommendation and say, see attached proposed changes. That's acceptable. If there's only one line in a very lengthy table that you want to change, you could simply say in the recommendation, change line 1 as follows, just as we had in the past, and not mark up the table itself. If you have any problems in submitting inputs on tables or equations or graphics, please give me or Mark a call and we'll walk you through the best way to submit that.
That's great, thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, what's the cutoff date for submittals is for the next edition?
The cutoff date for submissions is November 7th, which is a Friday, at 5 p.m. Eastern Time.
This year, yeah, okay.
There's an earlier date, isn't there, if it's a hard copy submission?
Yes, yeah. Well, that's not just hard copy. That's really any other format other than using the tool. So the tool gets you to November 7th, and the
other one's October 11th, but it's posted on that doc info page.
yeah, and the earlier date for the paper and Word submissions and that kind of thing is about a month earlier in October. And that will apply at the second draft stage as well. So using the tool gets you more time. And the reason for that is because if you submit as a Word document, for example, then someone here has to manually enter that information in. And if all of this winds up being showing up at the closing date, then we'll have difficulty making our dates. And
October 3rd is the cutoff date for the for mailed-in inputs, and 7th, the online input.
Excellent.
okay. Anyone else?
Mark, did you say the server is down right now? You can't get into it, or?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay, well, thanks very much for your participation. We actually did record this, and we'll post this online so that it can be reviewed at a later date. We do have other plans for training. We have been talking about doing a mock committee meeting that would be done in the same kind of format. We will do this as an Adobe Connect meeting. And we're also talking about doing a meeting on task groups, a training session rather on task groups. Task groups become much more important in the new process because you're not just working through a bunch of proposals like we did in the past, where you might, for example, have 25 proposals on 210.8 and you take them in order. What the committees need to do in this new system is take all those inputs together, look them over, and decide what the committee wants to do with them, assuming they want to make changes to the code, and then go through and resolve the others. And you can resolve them as a group, or you can resolve them individually to provide a response back. That will be the subject of the mock committee meeting, so you'll see a demonstration of how that is expected to work in the NEC. Again, thanks for your participation, and feel free to email me at any time or email Kim if you have any questions. Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you at the next one, and certainly look forward